Spending is one of the things, if not properly handled, can lead you to financial distress. Imagine this situation that you have full control and you're fully taking charge of your spending and you are aware of your spending habits. I'll take you through steps on how best you can manage your spending. Thank you. Spending is one of the things that makes an economy to grow or money to circulate. But on these videos, I want to focus more on personal spending and how they relate towards personal debts. I'm very sure you have heard of people who had wealth, amassed wealth, and they were in a position where they were financially stable, but they were not able to control or manage their spending. And most of them have ended up to be more in debt. Some of them even declaring bankrupt. Those examples are all over. And today, I would like us to go a bit deeper and try to analyze or check on things or steps on how to manage your spending. First, spending by itself. You may notice that sometimes there are things you buy and you wonder, why did I buy them? Or things that you spend your money on and then you wonder, why did I spend my money on those particular items or a particular service? When for spending, you must understand is that check your habit. I know it's easier said than done, but to understand your spending habit is very critical in terms if your overall goal is to, of course, to manage your finances. And I'll take you through 4 steps which will give you an insight on how you can be able to manage your personal debt, your spending habits. And number 1, of course, all of us are prone to this one. We call them as spending triggers. What are the things that are triggering your spending? Number 1, of course, the lifestyle that you're living. Are you able to track or check your spending? Are you the person that you are spending more than you're earning? Those are lifestyle that one of the items that you need to look and check. That my lifestyle, am I being on top of my spending? Am I incurring debt because of my spending? Am I being cautious on my spending? So lifestyle is number 1 that you need to look personally on how am I spending my money. Number 2, of course, the environment. How am I planning to spend? Most of the time, the unplanned spending is what leads to mostly debt or purchasing products or services that you have not planned for. The environment. You must have a plan on how you're going to spend, because it's very tempting. Environment usually is very tempting for you to spend. So have a plan for that. Number 2, of course, this more on emotion or psychological. That it depends on your mood. Some people, when they are happy, they spend a lot. They really, really spend a lot. Others, when they're emotionally stressed, they do spend a lot on themselves. So mood also plays a part on how we spend. Number 3, of course, is the time of day. When you're in a position to make a very clear logic decisions, that's the right time to spend. It has been observed that most of the time in the evening, when your mind is a bit tired, that's the time most of the people spend on things that they should not have spent, unplanned spending. So the time of the day really plays a part on your spending. Number 4, and this is the most, if I could rate it in terms of the triggers, I'll rate this one as number 1 and give it a lot of marks. And it's peer pressure. There are people, when you are around them, you find yourself spending more. Or you find yourself being put in a situation where you had not planned. So peer pressure is one of the key triggers in terms of spending. You don't want to tell your friends that you are monitoring your spending, or you don't have enough cash. But you want to, of course, be among your friends. And this is something that happens to all of us, me included. We are in a situation where when we come together, or when we are with our friends, there's that element of course, spending on things which we have not planned for. Though this one is something that if you want clearly to be in charge of your spending, it's something that you need to also communicate to your friends. It's not easy, but you have to communicate to your friends that I'm struggling with these spending habits and I want to manage it. I want to be on top of this particular habit. You never know. They will join you. They may join you to assist you on that. Or even them, they might be going through the same situation. So peer pressure is one of the things. Number 2 on our major points is that when you make purchases or services or goods, do it in cash rather than on credit. There's a tendency, if that you know that I can borrow money from somewhere and pay for this item or for this of this service. Those are sometimes what we call unplanned purchases, and at that time you are not able to afford that particular service or product. So when you're making purchase anything, make sure that you're purchasing it cash. That's the best way to be on top of spending habits. Number 3, you must have those we call financial goals. Like I've shared in my previous videos, there's several types of goals, either short-term or long-term, depending on where you are in terms of your age. There are different types of financial goals. So, and one of the financial goals, short-term financial goals, of course, is for you to be able to manage your spending and reduce your debts. So always have those short-term goals. One thing is that money is the only thing that we use on a daily basis, and it's something that you're going to use for the rest of your life. So it's best for you to learn yourself on how you are using it, how you are investing, saving on it. You have a whole lifetime to do that. So on a daily basis, if I know I'm going to be using money on a daily basis, the spending will always be there for my lifetime. It's best that I start learning on how to manage my spending. All of us have, of course, a goal to be financially stable or financially free. Those are goals for each and everyone. So have those financial goals that can be able to control your spending, that you know you are spending according to your budget. So spending is not easy. Sometimes it can even be an addiction. But your overall goal is that you are able to manage how you're spending your money. Because you look at it in the terms of the financial goals that you're going to set is that I want to start saving more. I want to start saving 5% of my income or 10% of my income. If I'm spending if I'm saving 5%, I want to increase next year to start saving 10%. I want to start investing to buy assets slowly by slowly. Those are your short-term goals, even long-term goals. Those are things that we need to always keep a track on. Those can never be achieved if we have a spending thrift mindset or mentality. So be on top of your spending habits. Track every expenses. And I'll leave you to this. The last point is that you must start tracking your spending. Every shilling count. Do not say that small amount, I don't need to track that expenses. Those small ones are the ones that when you compound them, when you look at the full month expenses or how you spend your money, you find those small shillings that you're spending are what is making up 90% of your spending. So even the smallest shilling, you must track it. They say that even the smallest leak sinks a ship. So even the smallest shilling, you must track it. Also, as I conclude, one day, pick a day when you're starting a particular month. Start tracking your expenses or how you're spending your money. You will realize that the money you're spending is towards one particular item, let's say even for food or for any other item. You find you're spending more money on one item at the end of the month. But these things you can never know unless you start tracking your spending and how much you're spending on a particular item. So my parting shot is that be on top of your spending. Check each and every habit that you have in regards to how you're spending your money. And you know that once you are able to control or manage your spending, you are on the first step towards your financial goals. Thank you so much.